What's up, Call of Duty athletes? My name's Tyler, and we have a huge announcement from Infinity Ward and Call of Duty coming your way. These announcements came in the form of a blog post on their website. It's safe to say a lot of people, the majority of the Call of Duty community, was extremely unhappy with Warzone 2. Over 60% of the community has left the game completely. And according to Charlie Intel, this has caused huge panic inside the offices of Infinity Ward, Call of Duty, Activision, and now Microsoft. I could go on forever in my opinion of what's wrong with the game, but we'll leave it at that. There are so many huge changes coming to Season 2 February 15th that they have announced in this blog post. Now, they posted it on Twitter. If you don't follow Infinity Ward or Raven Software is actually taking over Warzone 2 from this point forward. They say it's going to be more of a partnership, but let's be real, it seems like Infinity Ward has really lost their privilege in that regard with Activision. And Raven Software really did a great job with a lot of the quality of life changes that they made along the lines of Warzone 1 that for whatever reason didn't get carried over to Warzone 2. But again, let me stop before I get too deep into this. All right, so we're gonna click on this here. It's called the Path to Season 2 Community Update. They talk about everything DMZ, Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, and Battle Royale here, and overall global changes, but we're just going to be worried about and talking about Battle Royale for the time being. If you guys want to hear more about Modern Warfare 2 or DMZ changes, hit the comment box below and let me know what you want to hear about. But strictly this video, we're going to be talking about Battle Royale. So first, Battle Royale, the Gulag. There's many changes coming to the Gulag, all right? 1v1, officially. No more 2v2. You don't have to rely on a teammate, a bum, an AFK player anymore. It's all on you, your weapon, your skills, which I love that, all right? The second big change that they're taking to this is they're getting rid of the jailer. There will be no more jailer in any future gulags as well. They're condensing the current map for the gulag, and they're going to make it smaller. They can't do too much to it in this short of a time period, but they're going to make it a little bit smaller. They're going to condense every aspect of the map to try to make it more 1v1 friendly. And then in the future, they're already working on 1v1 maps for future gulags and seasons. All right, they're going to scrap all 2v2 gulag maps. Now, this aspect of the Gulag right here, I actually have had a lot of opinions and ideas for what they need to change for this game, but I didn't even think about this, and I think this is a brilliant idea from whether Infinity Ward or Raven came up with this. For those leaving the arena or the Gulag victorious, the Gulag will grant a larger cash reward or a bonus to these players, okay? This change to cash will allow redeploying players to get back on their feet a bit faster. So they're saying that they want players to be able to regain their teammates, regain their weapons that they lost after dying faster than they were before, which will really speed up the game for everyone, and I love that. All right, next, cash economy. This is huge too. In addition to the cash changes to the Gulag outlined above that we just talked about, we are balancing the Battle Royale economy with a slight reduction to cash rewards for completing contracts. All right. Additionally, we are increasing the lowest value of cash piles from the ground loot to $800. So there will be no more 100 stacks on the ground or on the shelves or on top of tables. Everything will be at least piles at $800, which is awesome. Okay, the amount of cash that was on the map was extremely low. It dragged the game down. It was so hard. You spend half the time in the game sometimes just trying to be able to buy your teammates back, all right? As well as cash registers, okay? You know how you go to the cash registers, you open them up, there's those 4 slots with piles of money in them, just like a real cash register. When you open the drawer, there's 4 slots, right? Now there will also only be at least 500 stacks in each of those slots. Not total, each, okay? So you should, depending on how many slots have cash in them, you should be coming out with at least $1,000 from each cash register, which is, again, huge to improve the amount of cash on the map, to be able to buy weapons, loadouts, and just get into engagement faster instead of having to worry about buying everything and getting enough cash and looting. You spent so much time looting in Warzone 2, okay? Instead of being competitive, getting into engagements, all right? And half the time, by the time you're done looting, you're so surprised to see someone that you're not even prepared mentally for the gunfight. Again, I could go down a whole rabbit hole on that, but we're going to leave it at that. This isn't a video bashing them anymore. I'm excited about these changes, so we're going to be positive and optimistic from this point forward until I decide that I want to be negative again. Next, loot and inventory. As announced last week, we're shifting away from loot windows and menus and user interface total to floating loot that will drop out of all containers in the world, similar to loot supply boxes, okay? And Warzone 1. This change is intended to improve the pace of gameplay by minimizing time spent navigating the user interface and getting players back in the action faster. I love this. I know there's a lot of loot in people's backpacks, right? But I'm hoping they find a way to like stack 3 plates at a time on the ground. They'll stack ammo and you pick it up as you need it. Kind of like that vacuum thing from Warzone 1 in a sense, not completely, because there's a lot more loot possible being dropped on the ground in this game, but we'll see how that works. That might be a little clunky in the beginning, but I think they'll be able to smooth that out eventually. Now, another big change to the inventory and loot system is this. They say, we were excited to see the new backpack system give players the agency to customize their inventory for a desired playstyle or role within a squad. Okay, understandable. I get where they were going with this, but it just became too much of a clunky, bogging you down, time wasting system. I never had a problem with it per se. It just felt really slow to me. Backpacks will no longer be available, and eliminated players will drop loot onto the ground rather than loot-filled backpacks as well. So you will no longer have to dig in somebody's backpack to get all of their things from them. As well as we just talked about from all the boxes on the map, there will also no longer be backpacks on the ground. It'll just all flop out of their finished body when you finish them, and you just pick it up as you need it. It'll be floating there for you, just like Warzone 1. Every player will now have the same backpack throughout the entire game, which will subsequently, reduce the impact of stacking medical supplies, equipment, kill streaks. We will continue to look for feedback and provide updates that streamline the looting experience for everyone. But this right here, right? People were stacking precisions and UAVs in their backpacks, and you were just getting hit with 7 precisions at a time. Or people were stacking 10 revives, self-revives that they found on the map or from black sites or strongholds that they would get from these things, and have so many of them in their backpack, and they were just spamming them, right? This now no longer having to have medium or large backpacks. Everyone has the same small backpack. It cuts all of that down. Now they have to be picky and choosy with what they're storing in their backpack. There's no longer, yeah, I have 6 plates in my backpack. Okay, I'm good in that regard. I have this ammo or a munitions box here, and now I have 7 more slots for kill streaks and selfs. Okay, none of that anymore. I think the small backpacks are 5 slots or 6 slots, something like that. That really makes you have to decide and use your brain of what should you be carrying. You might have to leave that mortar strike behind, or that cluster mine, or that precision behind, or a couple selfs behind. You'll no longer have that option, which is great. Next is loadout changes. Okay, this one's not as big. We already had a lot of loadout changes throughout season 1 and season 1 reloaded, which I was a fan of. Again, they met us in the middle a little bit. I think they're a little too pricey still in terms of buying loadouts, but I'll take what I can get in that regard. I'm glad that they brought those back, and I'm cool with it becoming a challenge to buy your loadout and not just being totally given to you or having to fight off enemies that are going to the same loadout as you. I get it. I'm okay with that. Not that I love it, but it is what it is, right? The only big thing here really with loadouts, they are now allowing us to finally customize our perks. They are taking a few of the overpowered perks away, and those won't be available in Warzone 2 for you to put in your perk packages, but I'll take what I can get again. They want to rebalance some of those perks like bird's eye or things like that. I'm assuming those are the perks that they're talking about. They're going to hold those back. They're going to try to get those a little bit more balanced and give us a bunch of other opportunities to customize our perk packages and use other ones for the time being. Cool with me. I like that. Primary weapons will still be available at buy stations. Still buy your loadout. Now you can find loadouts on the map. You can find, maybe they'll pop out of chests, or maybe they'll be in cash registers, or maybe they'll be in strongholds, or maybe they'll be in black sites. I know you can already get them from those, but. And then the last thing is now they're going to add 2 public loadout events where, you know how they drop from the sky. There's like 5 usually in the big circle and 3 in the last circle whenever they drop. Now there will definitely be 2 in each game, not just 1. Additional changes. There's 4 here. They kind of make it seem like they're just kind of throw-ins, but 2 of them are huge, okay? First thing is 3-plate vests. Everyone is now going to start with a 3-plate vest and end with a 3-plate vest, just like Warzone 1. And I love this change. It was just so necessary, okay? I think they said, they don't say in here, but I believe from everything all the leakers are saying, what their plan is for, you will still start with 2 plates in your vest when you start the game or you come back from the gulag, and then you have to pick up that 3rd plate, okay? But everyone has a opportunity to put 3 plates in their vest from the beginning to the game to the end, all right? And this is just so important to keep gunfights consistent, okay? I don't have to worry about, hey, I have to throw 2-3 extra bullets in this guy because he has an extra plate, right? Or maybe I have to worry about me not having as much health as another person. I get the concept of it, but it just makes everything way more inconsistent, and the TTK's inconsistent. And we really like, as Call of Duty players, with how fast paced the game is, we like consistency in those TTKs and those gunfights so that we know where to move next and what to do next and where to aim next, because it's such a snappy game. All right, I love this. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. I know there are a small faction of Call of Duty players that will hate this. Let me know in the comments why you hate that. I've never really heard a reasonable argument to why you don't like it, but I'm sure there's got to be one out there for there to be enough of people not liking this change. Again, just let me know what you think in the comments about that one. The next huge one, these first 2 are big bombs right here, right? Movement. We have made an important tweak to movement that should yield better outcomes for players in combat. Starting with Season 2, players will be able to bust through doors while plating the way they would if they were sprinting. Huge, okay? This change includes a slight increase to the movement speed while plating to enable players to get to cover faster in moments of need. This all right here is so important. You feel like you are absolutely stuck in the mud while you are trying to plate, okay? With how wide open a lot of the areas of Al Mazrah are, this is so important. The busting through doors is just a personal preference for me, okay? I think you should be able to run through the doors while you're plating. It just makes finding cover easier. I thought they had 2 ways to go with this though, okay? This is one option. They just met you guys in the middle because there's like so many people that hate it, being able to sprint while plating, and then there's so many people who demand it and love it and feel like they need it, I guess is a way to put it, right? They're kind of meeting everyone in the middle here, so they're not giving everyone their speed back, but they're slightly increasing it and giving you the plating through doors aspect of it, which I think is an awesome meet in the middle, okay? I don't think you should be able to sprint full speed while plating at full speed, right? The other route they could have gone with this, in my opinion, which was an idea that I threw out on some of my platforms, was this, or live on Twitch when I'm talking to everyone. They also could have made the change to, if you are choosing to sprint full speed, like your tac sprint, you plate slower, right? Putting plates in takes longer. I feel like that would have also been a great avenue for them to take, but I'm totally fine with this change as well. Either one was cool with me. Meeting in the middle speed-wise, perfect. Last but not least, these are big changes too, but like smaller details. They're just adding more buy stations to the map. They're going to spawn more buy stations all the way across the map. This is awesome because I feel like half the time I'm trying to buy a teammate back, I have to run 8 miles or totally across the map to find a buy station. Or like when you're in later in the game, not even late game, just later in the game when the circle starts closing, the circle could be still a medium-sized circle at times, and there's no buy stations in the circle, and your teammates have to watch you play for another 15 minutes before the game ends, right? I just feel like regains should be made more possible and more frequent for players who are able to stay alive and not get team wiped. If you're able to finagle your way out of situations, or you have 2-3 guys on your team that get finished, but you fight off the rest of the other team and you wipe them, I should be able to regain my teammates, not immediately, but fairly quickly, or be able at least to get 1 back or 2 back of the 3 that I lost if we're playing quads per se. You know, strongholds now. Last but not least, strongholds provide an alternative gameplay. Right, there's other options for people to get money or to get their loadouts. Cool, sounds good to me. We are committed to providing a balanced engagement for players who choose to enter strongholds, okay? But the last part is the most important. They're making an additional adjustment to AI combatant damage, okay? This is my biggest pet peeve, I think, honestly. I have 2 or 3, but this is my biggest pet peeve with Call of Duty Warzone 2 right now. I do not believe that bots should be outside of the strongholds or the black sites. Cool, if you want to choose for that to be your route to get things, go for it. But as a person who's not choosing to go that route, I shouldn't have to be dealing with that particular aspect of the game, right? As well as I should also be able to tell if they're gonna keep them outside of these strongholds, the difference easily. Like, I should be able to tell the difference between a bot and a real player visually, very quickly. Okay, whether that means that they have a large like red diamond above their head that lets me know right away, hey, that's a bot, don't give up your position to shoot at them, or just maybe some sort of bright detail on their uniforms. I know when you're really close, they don't look the same as other operators that players have, but when you're more than 10 feet away, it's still pretty impossible to tell, besides like if you watch them move around for a little bit. If they're gonna be in the game, they shouldn't be affecting me, especially late game. Early game, it is what it is if that's what they want to do. But once we get to the last couple circles, I shouldn't be getting picked at from a bot from a football field away because they see me, right? And I'm in an engagement with somebody else and I'm getting picked at from the right from a bot that's not even a real player. I get why they're in the game for DMZ 100%, that's awesome, but leave them in DMZ or leave them inside of the strongholds. That's my opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. There's so many changes that are coming from this blog post. I'll link the blog in the description below. Let me know what you guys think about each change, whether you agree, whether you disagree with me, that's fine. Let's have a little bit of a debate in the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything Call of Duty. I post extremely consistently on this platform as well as every other one. You can come chat with me about all these changes on Twitch. I'm live consistently throughout the week. And hopefully I see you guys out on the battlefield, y'all. Have a good one.